So I started playing Final Fantasy XIV a few days ago. It's been pretty fun, I gotta say. I've enjoyed it quite a bit. I'll say, just like with Rebel Galaxy, the first few hours, I was like, this sucks, dude. I had played it years ago, like right after it got like the Realm Reborn, and then I haven't played it since. And like I kind of didn't like it then. I've fallen off MMOs hard. Like I can barely play them more than a month if they aren't, something like Legends of Eidolon or something where it's simple and I don't have to be that engaged. But once I started getting more off cooldowns and I've started having a lot of fun, and the community is just as good as everyone says. So far with it, people have been super nice, and it kind of bleeds into me, where I'm extra nice when I'm playing it. So it definitely kind of creates, a little cultural feedback loop that I think is a good tone for the game, and certainly not as toxic or annoying as many MMOs can be. Although I'm sure if you play a healer, it's still just as bad.
Yeah. Well, I tried to pick up Final Fantasy XIV a couple years ago, and I did not like the repetition of the quests. It started to get to me. It's just I can't spend this much time doing this. And yeah. I know the end game, quote unquote, is worth it. Yeah. And I know a couple people who are hardcore into that game. But it's too much for me. Too much time to get to where you need to get to in that game.
Yeah.
Personally.
I agree. I this time I'm going to get to the level 60 stuff because they include it in the free trial. Although getting the game to fucking work is a goddamn nightmare, I gotta say. Because I had bought it, years ago when I played, and then so I just thought I could load that up and click the free trial version. You have to go download it from the website, the special free trial client. So I had to download this game 3 fucking times.
Oh my god.
And I made 4 different accounts trying to fucking get one to let me do the free trial. And I finally did it that way, and then I can just link another account to it anyways. So then I got the free trial going finally. But yeah, I've definitely enjoyed it. One thing that I really like about it, which is kind of that maybe the opposite effect of FOMO, where you're doing something and it's very culturally relevant at the time. So the game is probably more popular than it's ever been. So it's kind of like being at WoW at its peak, which I never was, which is kind of fun. You're there with all these other new people. You're all learning the game at the same time and enjoying it to various degrees. But yeah, it feels very alive. Whereas my problem with a lot of MMOs is definitely, even ones that are popular, they might be so spread out over servers, or people are so far ahead that you never see anyone on the level up thing, where it feels lonely and empty and barren. Where Final Fantasy doesn't have that. And then even WoW, I think, I don't know the details because I never played it that much, but it seemed like they did something where people didn't have to be in the cities anymore, where the cities had become basically useless. So you don't have that problem in FF14, where the cities are still important and you still have to, go to certain areas. And it's just life everywhere. There's real players everywhere. And yeah, I've had a blast. Yeah, a lot of the quests, I'm still on the boring phase of the quest. I did realize that, so I fucked up. So in the first 3 hours, the part that I wasn't liking, maybe even 5 hours or so, I was doing all the side quests. Because normally in MMORPGs, you do the main quest and the side quests that are in the area, and then you're going to level up perfectly on pace. This one I was doing that, and then I've been 10 levels ahead even since I stopped doing it. Because all you need to do is the main story and then the main side quests, your job quests. You do not need to do all these little pitiful bullshit quests, and you absolutely shouldn't, because you can level up other jobs anyways. And so your main stories, if you want to level up another job from level 1, which is one cool thing about the game, is you can get all of the classes and all of the gathering classes and all the crafting classes in one character.
Whoa, holy shit, I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah, so you do not need to make multiple characters if you don't want to. You can just, and if you don't like a class, like I can already see myself once I get to level 50, restarting over with like the red mage or a different class than the archer. Because even though I like the archer, the other classes look really like more awesome. And so I'm probably going to do that. And you get a bonus. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I think it's something like 30% when you're leveling up a new class that's below like your max class.
Yeah.
So it's a faster process, but you don't have the major XP gainers of the main storyline being at those levels anymore. But if I leave all these extra little shitty side quests that are actually making me over leveled and that I didn't need to do. So now I'll have all those there that since I've started skipping them to help level up those other classes faster. The duty finder works really well. I mean, again, what's awesome about it too with the game that's this packed, with players is that when I'm doing need to do a dungeon, even like the low level ones, it only takes like 5 minutes, even as a DPS player to get into a dungeon. So I'm sure if you're a healer or a tank, it's probably like a minute.
Medics are always in high demand, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, that's my class though, normally. That's what I played the very first time I played it was a white mage, so I want to do something a little different, but I'm probably going to go back. I might try one of the other healing classes.
Probably because medics get a lot of shit if they fuck up.
They do.
There's a lot of responsibility.
It's always your fault. It's always your fault, even if the tank's not damage mitigating at all. And you're like, dude, you're fucking dying in 3 hits. What the hell am I supposed to do?
It's like like a goalie in hockey. It's like if the goalie sucks, well, your team's just fucked.
Yeah. And there's one aspect I didn't think I was watching this video. I wish I could give them credit. But he does these little cartoon videos, and it's like the crap video to healers in FF14. And one point he makes it is like, these are the power-hungry people. They control your lives, and you must beg them for...
Yeah.
You must bow down to their... It's like, you know what? Maybe there is a little bit of ego
especially with the tank. Like this huge juggernaut. Everybody follow me.
Yeah, I lead them. And they do. They lead the fucking dungeons. They're the ones that have to know how to play the dungeon. But yeah, I mean, I love healers. I've been a healer in all the games. Back when we played the Old Republic, I mean, the operative. Like, I played the Juggernaut at first, but then once I switched to operative, I was like, that was one of the coolest healers I've ever played. Just because you had so many dots and auto dots that you just the robots that would go help heal, and then you could focus on trank healing, and you were a stealth healer. Maybe we talked about it before, but it's an insane, awesome healer when you're a stealth healer.
I know you can be prestigious with any type of class. Like you can be prestigious at a DPS class, but it's a lot more easy to be prestigious at medic or tank because there's not as many of those. But what do you think is harder to be? Like, if you had to pick a natural progression, you would start off as DPS because you don't have as much responsibility, and then you'd go to medic next, and then tank last.
Yeah, I guess I would depend on the class, in the whatever game, but I guess in this case FF14. But I think probably I'd say maybe tanking can be harder. But healing, you have to have a lot more multi-management and have to know how to swap between the people that you want to swap between really quickly and keep an eye on everything while still dodging the attacks. So depending on what your strengths are, one could be traded for the other, but obviously DPS is, mostly brain dead.
Attack.
Yeah. One thing I do like about the game was they don't have a DPS meter or healer meter that you can see after the dungeon. So there's a lot less blaming, oh, you suck, and yada, yada, yada. It's if you beat it, you beat it, On one hand, you could say that it limits your ability to grow. However, I think it's worth it to help create a kind of environment that is more inclusive and less blamey. You have less reasons to point fingers, at other people. And yeah, I mean, it's just been really good. I don't know, it's a huge game, so that's a little intimidating. I haven't played an MMO in a long, long time of this scale. But it does feel really cool to be on the ground floor you know, of something. I mean, obviously it's been out for years, it's been popular for years, but now where it's like reaching peak and it's still going up, you know.
I thought it was been way past its peak by now.
No, everyone's leaving WoW. That's the big thing. Even Asmongold. Asmongold's like the most popular WoW YouTuber for years and years, and he just switched to FF14.
Wow.
I mean, he's not done with WoW, but like FF14 is like the game that he's said he would never play, and now he's playing it. And you see that with a lot of the content creators, and I see it in the comment sections of all those videos. So it is fun for that. Man, they have a lot of cool side stuff too, like chocobo racing. I mean, dude, that was my favorite part of FF7. Yeah, just fucking making those fucking badass chokies, dude. Getting that golden chocobo for Knights of the Round.
Yeah, that's just, right. Oh man.
Yeah, and I always just want to picture myself, like I haven't gotten into it too much yet because I don't have like the gold. I just got my chocobo in the game, but my personal one. But I just like see myself wearing like, you know, like one of those Cuban fedoras, like straw fedoras with like a chomping in a cigar. I'd be like, "Go, Beetlefoot! Go, you damn it, Beetlefoot! I'm gonna put you down if you don't win me this."
Yep.
Chomping, dude.
It was kind of
fucking like.
What was that place called? The Golden Circus or whatever.
Golden Saucer.
Golden Saucer. Yeah, it had that vibe too, where it was kind of grimy and gross.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude, that fucking Las Vegas, like, you know, like, oh yeah, I gotta sell you a real Rolex, you know, real Rolex, man. $20,000 watch to give you for $500.
Rolex.
Yeah.
So something that's interesting here, I'm looking at Final Fantasy XIV Online on Steam charts, and they've got an average of 41,000 players in the last 30 days. Compared to Elder Scrolls Online,
insane,
which is about 17,000 in the last 30 days.
That's growing though too.
I would say that Elder Scrolls is pretty stagnant.
Okay. Oh, they're probably losing similar amounts, or was that 17,000 players of growth?
That's just average players.
Yeah.
Yeah. So FF14 has over twice as much as Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah, that's probably just the Steam, right?
On Steam charts, yep.
Yeah, because I'm playing not on Steam. And I think a lot of people had to do the same thing I had to do to get the free trial. So, like, it's just like, they put what's really cool too is they put like a little green sprout. And you're called a sprout if you're a new player, and it's right next to your name. So everyone knows you're a new player. And right now it's like a sea of sprouts, which is sick, you know, because we're all learning the game together.
Yeah.
And then if you go into a dungeon, there are like cutscenes and stuff like that are part of the game, like, you know, a regular RPG. And that's one core thing they said when they were making FF14 is that it's a Final Fantasy game first and an MMORPG second. So it's really cool but then it pops up where you'll see if you've already ran the dungeon a bunch of times, you got to wait for new players, you know, but you know, whatever, you got to wait for them to see their lore videos. But then it shows a sign. It's like one or more players in the dungeon. This is their first time. If you complete it fast, you get extra rewards for having that player has never done it before. So it even incentivizes people to want to wait for the guy to watch his cutscenes and to explain the mechanics to them. Yeah, and the community seems very like gender neutral, you know, a lot of like of everyone. There's like a little something for everyone. Again, like I really like the chocobo racing aspect as far as the mini game. They have another one that I think is also from Final Fantasy VII where it's like that little tactics one. I haven't looked into it too much, but I think they have like that tactics game where you'd put the guys to block off choke points and they'd fight the like minion waves. You remember that?
Yes, I do, from FF7.
Yeah,
I love that minigame. Whenever I played through FF7, I couldn't wait to get to that point in the game. And I was always bummed out that it was just like a one-time thing, like per playthrough that you got to do that. Yeah, that's a fun minigame.
Yeah, and then they got I haven't looked into too many of the games at the Golden Saucer, but they have like a few like card games, like Triple Triad. And that one I just always like imagine like a bunch of Japanese dudes in the back of this like restaurant from like Always Sunny in Philadelphia with like Frank there, just playing like gambling with cards and money.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Like again, I think I get off topic, but touching on what you were saying earlier, it is like a lot of like go here to go here to go here in the beginning. But once I started running just the main storylines and the job quests, it gets much better because the main storylines have the core of the story, which isn't super, super great in the base game, but interesting enough. And then you don't feel like
grinding.
Like it doesn't get exhausting and grinding because like when you're doing all these little side quests and you're way above the level, you're like, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah, I think you're hitting the nail on the head. I think that's actually why I quit. Because I'm very OCD and like I like to be thorough, so like I want to complete all the quests. So I think that's what happened to me. I was just doing all these low level quests. Like when the fuck am I actually going to be able to play the game?
Yeah, exactly. And I think if you do that and you save those for other jobs, so you can still scratch that completionist itch, but you can put it on a longer time frame,
Yeah.
And there's just, so many different things to do too. Like the chocobo's awesome. Glad I got that. But then I think later on you can make it so they fight with you as like almost like a companion.
Wow.
Chocobo beat some ass, and there's like hunting logs. So, there's like, you kill like a creature a certain amount of times and you complete the log and gain bonus XP that way. A lot of different currencies. You have your obviously you have your private guilds, which I think are called free companies, but then you have like the in-game guild, Adventures Guild that you're a member of, and those incentivize you to do like the fates, which are like the world events that multiple people can complete just on the map together, that are like limited, and you get like the currency for that guild and get special items, mounts. In fact, you have to get 200 of that currency to buy your chocobo pass in the first place. But so there's a lot to do. It's one of these games that if you start now, by the time there's probably going to be 2 expansions out by the time you reach those expansion levels, and really getting everything done. But yeah, I mean, overall I've just had a great experience. The artistic design's not really my favorite, but it still looks really beautiful. And dude, there's so many classes too. That's one thing I want to touch on. There is so many freaking classes in this game, and it seems like there's always more coming out with every expansion. And from what I've heard, it's super well balanced. Like obviously there's a couple that are like a high tier, but overall everyone just talks about like even like the lowest level job is not that far off from the highest level in what it does, that anyone's really going to care that you have that in like a dungeon party. So like the fact that they can have this many classes and then have balance that is that close is a sign of, great development, and really understanding the core elements that make online RPG good.
I'm seeing online, I don't know if this is the right thing, but it says that there's 18 different available jobs to choose from. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's probably included, because they have the class jobs, so you have gathering jobs and the carpenter jobs. So I'd say there's even more if you include those. And then they might be including, not including the base jobs, because you have the base job to level 30, and then you get your advanced job. And there's a ton of the advanced jobs.
So would you say that in FF14 it's really good to be specific and only choose a few things to do at one time? Or do you think it's actually okay to spread out pretty wide with how you customize your character?
I think you always want to have at least one main, just to be able to push a little more into the deeper content. But I don't think I think they give you enough tools to boost those other job levels. So if you get I'm gonna push no matter what with my class to level 50, just so I can unlock the other some of the other classes that you can unlock before trying other stuff to see what really fits my style. So I'd say do that. However, I don't think there's any, like, they give you enough tools that speed up your development that if you do get to that 50 and you're like, no, I want to do this, and then you like, oh, I like this, I'm going to make this my main, then leveling that one back up to 50 and then pushing on from there is definitely not a big deal. And then from what I've heard, you are incentivized to spread out a bit, especially with crafting. Everyone kind of says, like, eventually you want all of the crafting and all of the gathering anyways. So
5,000 hours later.
Yeah, but perhaps you would probably focus on the crafting at first that helps the job that you're doing. Yeah. Because the high-end game, you do, I guess, need to make crafting stuff so the armor and stuff that comes out of it is actually useful. Then you'll need that to be able to tackle the high-end game to get the really, really end gear stuff. But this is all from a guy that's only, maybe 10 hours in, and I'm just kind of picking this up through osmosis and videos. But yeah, just looking here real quick, there's from just the not counting the baby jobs, 4, 7, 11, 14, 18. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, there's 18 jobs. One of them is a limited job. The blue mage is like so broken that it's not actually, doesn't go up to max level and can't be used, I think, in high level raids. But looks really fucking fun because it's just like the classic blue mage from Final Fantasy. You're, taking enemies' abilities and then using them, which is cool. And that's what's cool about this game is they have badass shit like that, And yeah, I'm just overall, I recommend to go try it for free if you've been hungering for an MMO, you haven't pulled the trigger yet. It's definitely fun. I don't know how long I'm going to stick with it because it is an MMO at its core. But I'll definitely push to level 60 and see if that endgame content makes me want to buy the rest of the content.
One quick question. So, so there's probably a market in it, right? Where people can, put stuff up on the market to sell, and other players can go in there and buy.
Yeah, I haven't been to, whatever their grand exchange equivalent is yet. So I'm not actually sure when you unlock it. Maybe it's unlocked from the start, but I haven't found it. But I'm pretty sure there is, yeah.
Yeah, because
because you can make money off of gathering skills.
Yeah, well, I was thinking with your crafting skills, I've always really liked that mechanic, in WoW, where you can specialize in making leather armor or something, and you start producing really badass leather armor because you put so much time and points and effort into it, and then you can start making this armor and putting it out on the market for people to buy, and
yeah, that was the coolest thing about Galaxies.
Yeah, that was cool. Galaxies never got enough credit.
Dude, it didn't. I could go on and on about Galaxies. It was probably one of my favorite MMO RPGs until they destroyed it.
Yeah, that's crazy. And that was, what, early 2000s?
Yeah, it was before WoW. Yeah. That was the main one before WoW. It's kind of wild to think about. Yeah, but that's pretty much it on that. Oh, I actually will say one final thought. For me, being a long-time Final Fantasy nerd, I'll say, and someone that hasn't really enjoyed the most recent ones, I think I never gave 15 a fair chance, which I still need to do. But 13 was absolutely horrible. I've always disagreed with calling FF14 and 11. They should have been called Online, FF Online. But even 10 was decent, 12 was pretty good. But since really 9, 8, 7, 3 and 2.
Even 12, I thought.
Even yeah, it was pretty decent. I really like the Gambit system. But being a long-time nerd of the Final Fantasy lore and series, it's fun to play an MMORPG and then have all these little elements, like the chocobos and the Moogles all running around. So it's definitely fun and definitely kind of makes you feel like you're in a weird world of Final Fantasy that has almost everything. You have your Gunblade guys right next to your VV mages and shit. So
well, an MMO is perhaps the most ambitious genre of game that there is.
Absolutely. I don't even think it's close.
Yeah, well, because there's the social aspect of it, which is one of the things that's actually kind of prevented me from enjoying MMOs a whole lot. I'm typically a solo gamer. Yeah, I'll play games with people that I know, really good friends, on a game that we both really like at the same exact time, which is kind of rare.
It's very hard.
Yeah. But Yeah, MMOs are ridiculous, man. Like the social aspect, and I think MMOs, one of the reasons why some of them do so well is because I think it attracts a lot of female players. Like you were saying, like it seems to be pretty half and half. Where yeah.
But if you have a game that's that big, you know, and you have all these different currencies and different things where you can get, you know, stuff and equipment and all this, like, you know, to balance everything and make everything like at least slightly worthwhile. I mean, that is no small task. You know, I give it up to their development team.